Listen, who got time to be out here reviewing every single application that you get in your business? Today, I'm going to show you a walkthrough of how I automate my entire client application process. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ebony Evaughn, your go-to business operation strategist, here to help you grow your business through people and processes. Today, I am giving you a behind-the-scenes walkthrough of my entire automated client application review process. So when I try not to do phone consultations in my business, right? So in order to minimize that, I have an application process for all of my high ticket services that I offer. And then from there, my application process is actually fully automated from the application, receiving it, the review process, until someone becomes a client, unless during that application process they indicate that they do want to consult, then I will do one. So the best way for me to explain this to you is to just show you a quick flow chart, okay? So let me go ahead and pull this up. Here you can see that first things first is the application is received. Once the application is received, it goes through a automated review process, and based on that review decision, there's an automated response. So if we review their application and it's not a good fit, then the application is denied, and we'll send them a notification to let them know that it's denied. Typically, we'll try to recommend maybe an alternative product or service, or if it makes sense, if I have a peer that is a better alignment, then I will refer them to someone else. And then if the application is accepted, then there's two different processes. So within my questionnaire, I actually ask people if they're ready to invest, and if they are just like ready to buy now, or if they prefer to gain more information or speak to someone first. So if they indicate on that application and the application is accepted that they want to speak to someone, then only at that point will I send them to my booking calendar so that they can book a discovery call with me. And if the application is accepted and they're like, girl, I'm ready to work, and then we send them to a sales page so that they can go ahead and enroll. Once they actually enroll, then I've automated 80% of my client onboarding process as well. So let me know if you guys want to see a video about that, and I can show you how I've practically automated the majority of my client onboarding. So this is essentially the workflow for our applications for all of the services in my business. So in addition to this, I want to just show you the process and show you behind the scenes of how it works, right? So first things first, like an example is my CEO day. So with my CEO day, I do send people directly to a sales page. And the reason why I send people to a sales page is because I want people to know what they're signing up for before they even like say yes and opt in. So I give them a sales page, but the only difference is I do not work with everybody. So on my sales page, you get all the information, you know what's included, but then you'll get to a button that says apply for your CEO day, right? So when someone hits apply, this actually takes them to a form to fill out, and this is an application for the actual CEO day. So they'll fill out this application, and let me know if you want a tutorial on how to do this. I'm using 𝗪𝗓𝗄𝗡𝗏𝐻. So all of my applications, I am in the process of moving to 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗏𝐻. I used to use Typeform at one point. I've also used Google Forms. You can also use Notion. So you can build your application in whatever tool that you want to, but then someone decides, yes, I'm interested in working. They fill out this application. And then on the back end, I have an automated review process that will then review this application. So again, I'm using 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗏𝗄𝗡𝗏𝗏. So inside of 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏, I have this automated workflow that will actually review the application, so I don't have to do anything until someone actually signs up or either books that consult. So essentially, I have a trigger when someone fills out the application. I have conditions set up, based on how they answer their questions. So when it comes to setting up your application, you want to make sure that you're very strategic in the questions that you ask so that you can use those as filters for how you want to direct people. So for example, there's two key questions, well, three, I'll say, but mainly two key questions that I ask on my application to qualify people and then determine which path they go down. So for example, on my application, I'll click on this one. This is an initial review to see if we're going to accept or even decline the application. So on my application, I ask what their budget is for actually being able to invest. In this case, it's a CEO day. So if they say that their budget is less than $994, then the application is automatically denied because we don't have anything that's in that budget range, right? So in addition to this, we also have a question about their time requirements. So we only want to work with people who are ready to get started right now. So if someone says, oh, I'm just inquiring about this because I want to do this 6 months from now, then the application is also denied. And we tell them you can reapply when you're ready to move forward. And then also during our application process, something that we do that's a little bit different probably than other people is if someone's application is approved, they then have 72 hours to actually book their service, or they go back to the end of the queue. And if you apply and you don't book within those 72 hours, then you have to wait 30 days before you can even submit a new application. And so this helps me to really just optimize my entire process, focus on clients who are ready to move forward now. And then it also helps when it comes to minimizing kind of the people who get into your funnel and they're not, I don't want to say not serious, but they're not ready to move forward at this moment for whatever reason, whether it's time constraints, whether it's budget or whatever. So in the application process, we'll then filter it based on if their budget, they don't meet the budget or the time, then their application is going to be denied. So basically, this just adds a tag to deny their application, and then we will trigger a email that says your application was not accepted, and then recommend alternatives if possible. And if their application is accepted, then we'll add a tag that says application accepted, and then it goes through a second review process. So once their application is accepted, then this is where I go to another question where I mention about if they're like, I'm ready to book now, girl, let's get started. Or if they're like, wait, like, I want to do this, but I need to talk to someone first, or I want more information. So this then we'll review their application to see how they answered this question. So open this up, and then here we're looking at if they selected invite to book or if they're like, I'm ready right now. So if they answer the question, it's like, I like to know more, then we send them a link to then be able to book a consultation. And we do require deposits. I'm not about people wasting my time. So we require a deposit for that. But if they say, I like to know more before making a decision, we send them an invitation to book a discovery call with us. And it's the same process. They have to book that discovery call within 72 hours. And then if not, then they go back to the back of the line. You have to wait 30 days before you can apply again. But this just keeps people moving forward through the process. And so if they answer they are ready to book, and then we send them to a sales page. So I am using FG funnels, but I don't use email services from FG funnels or FG mail. I actually use ConvertKit. So I'm going to show you how I actually set up my visual automation in ConvertKit or Kit now, y'all. I'm trying to learn these new names when people change their names and stuff. But over in ConvertKit, I made a copy of this because I didn't want to accidentally change something and mess something up in the live visual automation, but this is an exact copy of my live CEO application workflow, okay? So within Kit, when someone submits that application over in FG Funnels, it's going to add a tag in Kit that says this is a CEO day lead, basically. And then from here, it's going to go through, just send them an email confirmation that's confirming, hey, we received your application, and let them know your application will be reviewed shortly. And then I do have a little bit of a delay here just because sometimes with the webhooks, there can be a delay between the communication between FG Funnels and Kit or other applications that we use. So I have a bit of a delay here. And then based on their application review, if their application is denied, then we send them an email letting them know your application status has been updated, your application wasn't accepted. And if the application is accepted, then we send them down two different paths. So for example, if they ask to speak to someone or they want more information, we send them a link to book a discovery call. And if they're like, girl, we are ready to get started, then we send them a link to actually go ahead and pay and sign up for the service. And then I have some follow-ups here. And then at any point in this process, once they actually become a client, then they jump to this point, because thinking about the user experience, you don't want to continue sending someone emails if they already bought something, right? So that's basically what that tag is for. So there you have it. That is how I've been able to automate my entire client application process. Not only do I have this process for my CEO days, but this is the exact process I have for all of the services across my business, all across the board. And you can implement the same process as well. Since I have automated my client application process, I have less ghosting. I have less people booking discovery calls with me and then getting on there and they're not ready, or they try to use that as a coaching opportunity. There's no manual follow-up, and I have more aligned clients when I actually use this review process. So you can set up the same or a similar process for your business. And I guarantee if you automate your client application process, your client prospecting process, that this is going to give you so much more peace of mind as a CEO, and you will thank me later, okay? If you're looking for more tools and resources for how you can wow your clients at every stage, then check out ServeCorrect. ServeCorrect is my client care and management bundle for online service providers. Inside of this bundle, you get a client portal, you get tools and resources as far as communication scripts. I give you resources for how to handle tough conversations or issues that may arise when it comes to dealing with clients. All of that is inside of ServeCorrect, the client care and management bundle. I will leave a link in the description of this video if you want to check that out. Other than that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for stopping by my internet home. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those notifications so anytime I post another video just like this, you, my friend, will be the first one to get notified. Bye, y'all.